Is it really hard for you to try new things? Maybe you want to make more of an effort to try things, but you feel really uncomfortable and you don't know how to deal with these emotions or where they're even coming from. Or maybe you're someone who loves trying new things and people like this who are so hesitant to do something new bother you and you don't understand where they're coming from. In this video, I'm going to go over why it can feel uncomfortable to try new things and different mindset shifts and practical tips that can help you to actually push forward and try the new thing despite your uncomfortable emotions and feelings holding you back. Trying new things is also specifically harder as we get older. We feel much more uncomfortable. We don't have that childlike energy to jump into new things, not worrying about how we look or being embarrassed or what this means for our identity. Trying new things is especially hard because it takes time to grow and improve. We have immediate discomfort when we're not good at something, like that says something about us and who we are, and we get the urge to quit when we don't see the progress. But it's very important for us not to listen to that negative self-talk trying to hold us back from who we could be, what we could do if we just push through. Because this is emotional resistance. It's not just a difficult skill that we're learning to acquire. This is inner self judgment. It's our inner self trying to protect us from judgment of others or not doing something well. But really, this is just holding us back nowadays. As a communication coach, I work with advanced learners who are living in an English speaking environment or working in an international company, and they're constantly facing these situations of feeling inadequate or like their English isn't good enough. They're afraid to jump into these new situations, make friends in English, have a group conversation. So I really help them to jump into these situations with as much confidence as possible and push themselves to try something new and not let a new skill be associated with their identity. It's important to notice when you feel this emotional resistance to trying something new. And this is where you know that you can work on it and improve specifically. We need to reframe this difficulty as a psychological response and something that's totally normal rather than a personal flaw and something that indicates we can't possibly progress with this new skill. Because discomfort is so normal. Growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. This discomfort is a sign that you're actually moving in the right direction. Like me with these videos. I'm very uncomfortable, but that's a sign that I'm doing it right. So mindset shift number one that I want you to remember is that new things naturally feel uncomfortable. You haven't done this thing before. Of course, it feels unsafe and like it challenges your identity, who you are. Who am I to try this new thing? But this is where growth happens. Being a beginner kind of conflicts with being competent or being successful. If you only do things that you're very good at throughout your life, then trying something new and being bad at something for the first time, naturally, this isn't going to feel good, especially if you're surrounded by people who do it well. I always use the example of board games. I love board games and I play it a lot with my parents and my husband. And some people in my family or some people I know, they don't like board games. It's not fun for them maybe to try something new, or the learning process, even if you potentially can get very good at that game and enjoy it and win in the future, the learning process is uncomfortable. And I think a board game is a good example of that, but it applies to every new thing that you learn, every new skill that you grow. It's uncomfortable at first, but this is a good thing. It shows that you're doing something worth learning and you're growing. So remember that this discomfort is just your brain interpreting the task, the unfamiliar task, as something that's a risk rather than an opportunity for growth. And these negative emotions, you're interpreting them as your inability to do something rather than the natural process of learning something new. So try to see these emotions and these feelings for what they are. They're the beginning of the development process. That's normal. That's fantastic. Mindset shift number two. As we age, we're losing our growth mindset that kept us so resilient and open-minded as children. So we really need to work hard to maintain this growth mindset. This is something that I've done so much since COVID. I think COVID really was a stage that I read a lot of books. I identified a lot of my personal struggles and the mindset patterns holding me back, like my all or nothing mindset. And I'm really working all the time to build my growth mindset. And all of my clients are so wonderful. They also have this growth mindset, and I love talking about these things with them. It's why I have mindset shifts in every single video, because I think it's so important to build your growth mindset and develop as a person. So remember that as children, we're encouraged to fail and explore and try new things, hopefully. Sometimes school, especially as you get older, doesn't necessarily encourage mistakes. Schools don't reward experimentation or trial and error and growth, even though these processes replicate the real world. No, they just encourage you to get the A plus 100%. And this is really bad for the future because it encourages perfectionism, which is something I bring up in every single video because it's so important and it's deeply negatively affected my life. It's something I'm still learning to get over now. Facing that perfect anything is just holding you back in life. But our school system rewards this, unfortunately. So it doesn't encourage this growth mindset, but it's pushing us towards this fixed mindset of there's a right answer for everything. So because of this, we build this internal pressure to learn quickly, be perfect, do things well, maybe just focus on the things that you do well rather than learning new things, which can negatively affect us in the future and restrain us from wanting to try new things. My first practical tip is to reframe discomfort. This is, again, still kind of mindset-y. I always lean that way. But expecting discomfort as something that is normal. Change the way that you see things and you jump into the new process. Become aware of what's actually going on. Awareness is the key for absolutely everything. So vocalizing how you're feeling, what's actually going on in the scenario, journaling about this new process and why you feel so internally stagnant or like this isn't the right thing to do. And fight back against that negative self-talk that's trying to keep you from doing it. Separate the feeling bad from being bad. Being bad at this one thing means that you're a bad person. Separate the feeling from the identity, the new skill, the new task from the identity. They're completely separate things. You're simply learning a new skill. See the struggle of learning something new as data points. I love James Clear's article on treat failure like a scientist. Scientists don't fail at something and then say, oh, I'm not going to try that experiment again. No, they use it as a data point to create a new experiment and then learn from that one, and they just build on their progress. So when you fail at something, when you're not very good, when you lose the board game, or when you're awful at paddle if you're learning it. When I was learning paddle, I couldn't hit a single ball off the glass, but I kept playing, and now I can. So I used all my little failures, all my mistakes as a data point to build off of. Let yourself be imperfect while you're learning. These are all elements of reframing discomfort. Practical tip number 2, which is still kind of like a mindset shift. There's a lot of mindset shifts when it comes to this topic because it pretty much is 100% a mindset problem. Make things feel safer. Start smaller than your ego actually wants you to start. I really identify with this because I have an all or nothing mindset. So my brain will actually trick me into thinking, you can't just clean your room. You can't just do one push-up. You can't go to the gym for 10 minutes. This is ridiculous. I'd rather not do anything at all. This is your brain sabotaging you because you 100% can accomplish these small things, and then you can build up more and more and more and more. This is, again, James Clear's little method of the 1% increase and getting better a little bit at a time. So if you can just get past that ego, that negative self-talk telling you that's not enough, starting small is something that you 100% can do. And this is especially helpful if you can create low-stake practice environments where maybe you don't feel as self-conscious, or this isn't as big of a damage to your ego or as uncomfortable as other situations might be. You need to focus with consistency rather than intensity. I remind myself of this constantly. Once again, this goes back to James Clear. A lot of James Clear in this video as well. It applies to a lot of his book. Consistency is so much more important than intensity. Intensity fixation is your all or nothing mindset trying to sabotage you from the person that you want to become. And I know this so fully because I feel this with every part of my being. My all or nothing black and white mindset constantly tries to self-sabotage me. It tries to self-sabotage me before recording this video because I really didn't want to. I said, oh, you don't have to do that. So you need to focus on the consistency and know that consistent action results in improvement. Because when you repeat the simple action over and over and over and over, it starts to feel more familiar and you start to grow and learn and improve, become more comfortable with it. Even if you're failing, even if you're not winning at the paddle game or the board game or whatever you're doing, it's still more comfortable, it's repetitive, it's feeling more familiar. You're getting used to it. The discomfort starts to feel normal until it's a little bit more comfortable. So reframing all of these thought patterns and becoming more aware of the thought patterns and becoming more aware of what you're thinking and what situations are triggering certain reactions. This is how you try new things. You embrace the discomfort. You make the situations feel a bit more safer by focusing on different things, and you can push yourself to do more than you ever thought that you could. Trying new things is scary, and unfortunately, as an adult, we're so focused on our identity and what people think and the judgment, but we need to embrace more of our childlike wonder and try new things a little bit more, because that's how we grow and become the people that we want to be. So recognize that difficulty is not a sign that you should stop. Understand that growth naturally feels uncomfortable and unfamiliar. That's how you know you're doing it right. Let go of that expectation to be good immediately and reconnect with that beginner mindset that values progress over perfection, never perfection. Doing all of this encourages a calmer, more self-compassionate approach to self-development and learning new things, and that is so incredibly important. Be kind to yourself and remind yourself that you're doing something new. I say this to my clients all the time. You're doing a great job. You're in an uncomfortable, high-pressure environment. Be kind to yourself and remember that I am cheering you on every step of the way. I hope this mindset-focused video was helpful for you, and please let me know if there's any other similar topics that you'd like me to discuss. I would love to make videos on every single thing I mentioned in this video. I'm very passionate about it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.